All right, so today we're diving into something pretty incredible, something old, like really old.
Over 2,000 years old, to be more precise.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking ancient wisdom here. What exactly are we uncovering in this deep dive?
The Chanakya Niti. You could think of it as a sort of ancient Indian masterclass on strategy.
Strategy, huh? So like war tactics and military secrets.
Well, it covers those, but it goes way beyond that. It also gets into politics, leadership, even everyday life lessons. It's fascinating.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But 2,000 years ago, that's a long time. Who exactly was this Chanakya guy? Was he some kind of warrior philosopher?
You could say that. Chanakya was this brilliant strategist and advisor. He lived in a period of huge change in India. Imagine, empires were rising and falling.
Yeah, it wasn't that around the time when Alexander the Great was marching through? Talk about a time of upheaval.
Absolutely, and Chanakya wasn't just observing from the sidelines. He was right in the thick of it.
So he was advising kings and emperors.
He was the key advisor to Chandragupta Maurya, actually.
Wait, wasn't Chandragupta the one who founded like one of the biggest empires in ancient India?
Exactly, the Mauryan Empire.
Wow, okay. So this Chanakya, he's got serious street cred. But you said his writings, this Chanakya Niti, it's not just about conquering lands.
Right. It gets into the core of what he called niti, which is, well, it's a Sanskrit word. It doesn't translate easily, but think of it as wise conduct.
Niti. Sounds kind of cool, actually.
Mm.
But how do you even sum up centuries of wise conduct in one little word?
It's tricky, but, there's this story about Chanakya as a boy. He's playing with his friends, and he accidentally steps on some kusha grass.
Kusha grass. Okay, now you're going to have to explain that one.
Right, so kusha grass, it's considered sacred in Hinduism. They use it in rituals and ceremonies. It's supposed to have, like, purifying properties.
Ah, okay. So not the kind of grass you just casually trample on.
Exactly. But that's what young Chanakya did, completely by accident.
Oops. What do you do next?
He immediately stopped and uprooted the entire patch of grass. Very carefully, I might add, like made sure it wouldn't grow back.
Really? Seems a little extreme for some grass, doesn't it?
Maybe. But it shows how seriously he took things, even as a kid, and how he focused on getting to the root of a problem, not just dealing with the surface level.
Wow, I can see how that would translate to, like, every part of life.
Yeah.
If you got a problem, don't just put a bandage on it. Actually solve it.
Exactly. That's Chanakya in a nutshell. Be proactive, understand the source of a problem, and take decisive action.
Powerful stuff. Who knew you could get such a profound leadership lesson from a kid in some grass?
Right. And that's just one example. His book, The Chanakya Niti, it's packed with these little nuggets of wisdom.
Nuggets of wisdom, huh?
Okay.
Give me one. What's a Chanakya original that'll make me stop and think?
All right. How's this? The serpent, the king, the tiger, the stinging wasp, the small child, another man's wife, and fire are never to be trusted.
Okay, I'm with you on the serpent and the tiger. But a small child, what's he getting at there?
Well, remember, he's writing this over 2,000 years ago in ancient India. But if you read between the lines, it's about more than just those specific things. It's about being aware that anything, even something seemingly harmless,
Being dangerous.
right. It's about being observant, cautious, and not just blindly trusting anyone or anything.
Don't underestimate anyone or anything.
Exactly. Stay sharp. Think for yourself. Chanakya's world was all about understanding power dynamics, anticipating threats, and making smart choices.
So it sounds like needy is about being, well, a little suspicious. Like always watching your back.
It's not quite that cynical. Chanakya understood that trust is important. In fact, he had a lot to say about friendship.
Oh, yeah. What do you have to say about friends?
He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that a true friend is someone who protects you from calamities and helps you find happiness, like true happiness.
Protects you from calamities, huh? That's a good friend to have.
Yeah.
What did he mean by that, though? Was he talking about, like, knights in shining armor?
Not literally, no. But it's about being there for someone when things get tough, offering support, guidance, even tough love when it's needed.
Right, right. Not just saying everything's going to be okay, but actually showing up. Those are the friendships that matter, for sure.
Exactly. And Chanakya knew that those kinds of relationships, they're not just about getting by. They help us grow as people.
So choose your friends wisely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got strategy, leadership, friendship. What else did this Chanakya guy have to say about living a good life?
Well, this is where things get a little
what?
a little tricky. See, Chanakya also had some strong opinions about women.
Oh, okay. This should be good. What do you have to say about the ladies?
Well, he had this whole list of what he considered their flaws. And honestly, a lot of it's pretty hard to stomach from a modern perspective.
Ouch. I had a feeling this might get a little outdated.
Yeah, you got to remember, this was a very different time and place. The role of women in ancient India was, well, it was complicated. And Chanakya's views definitely reflected the patriarchal norms of his era.
So not exactly a poster boy for gender equality then.
Not even close.
Right.
But even with these problematic passages, I think it's important to address them head on. We can acknowledge the historical context without condoning the views themselves.
Right. It's all part of the learning process, I guess. Just because someone was brilliant in one area doesn't mean they were perfect in every way.
Precisely, and it reminds us how far we've come in some ways and how much work still needs to be done in others.
True enough. Okay, so we've talked about strategy, friendship, even some of the more challenging aspects of Chanakya's thinking. But I want to go back to this idea of niti for a second. You said it's about more than just politics, right?
Yeah, niti is bigger than just one area of life. It's more like a guiding principle for everything.
Everything. So how do you apply that?
It's about making decisions, big or small, with wisdom and foresight, always thinking about the consequences of your actions.
So niti is like having a long-term perspective.
Yeah. Chanakya compared it to the process of refining gold.
Refining gold.
He said that just like fire burns away impurities to make gold purer, studying niti, reflecting on these principles, it does the same thing for your mind.
Okay, I like that. So it's about self-improvement, becoming a better version of yourself.
Exactly. And that's something we can all benefit from, even today.
I think you're right. In a world that's constantly changing, having that kind of framework for making decisions, it's more valuable than ever.
It's about constantly learning, adapting, and striving to be better, just like Chanakya himself.
So he wasn't just talking the talk, he was walking the walk. Did he actually live by his own advice? So did Chanakya walk the walk, or was he all talk?
Well, he definitely wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He understood that sometimes to achieve great things, you have to bend the rules a little.
Okay, now you got to give me an example. What did he do? Did he have like a secret spy network or something?
Well, let's just say that the story of how Chandragupta Maurya came to power, it's pretty dramatic. A lot of people think Chanakya was the mastermind behind it all.
Really? So how'd he pull it off?
It involved a whole lot of strategy, diplomacy, alliances, maybe a little espionage. Chanakya was a master at playing the long game.
Wow. So he was definitely cunning, but was it all just about ambition? Or was there something more driving him?
That's a great question, and it's one that historians still debate today. What motivates a leader? Is it pure ambition, a desire for power, or is it something more?
Right, like a vision for a better future or something.
Exactly, and in Chanakya's teachings, you see both sides of that coin. He understood the realities of power, but he also believed in using it for a purpose.
So creating a just and prosperous society?
Exactly. He wasn't just trying to win the game. He wanted to change the rules for the better. He saw niti as something that could shape not just individuals, but entire societies.
It makes you wonder what he'd think of the world today.
I know. What would Chanakya do? It's a fun thought experiment.
Seriously, I mean, we might not be conquering kingdoms or anything, but the world's still a pretty crazy place.
You're telling me. And don't we all face tough decisions sometimes? Wouldn't it be great to have a little Chanakya wisdom to guide us?
No kidding. It's like these ancient texts, they're not just dusty old relics, are they? They actually have something to teach us about living today.
Right. And there's this one passage in the Chanakya Niti. It's about this very idea. He compares studying niti to refining gold.
Refining gold. Okay, I think I see where you're going with this.
It's like how fire burns away the impurities, right?
Yeah.
Makes the gold stronger and purer. Well, he believed that reflecting on niti, it does that for your mind.
It's about self-improvement.
Yes, and I love that. It's about becoming a better version of yourself through careful thought and action.
Okay, I am so on board with that.
Me too. And it's something we can all strive for no matter what our goals are.
Yeah. So to our listeners, think about it. What are the impurities holding you back? What can you do to refine your own thinking, make better choices, and live a more fulfilling life? It's a journey worth taking, and we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought. Until next time.